So Avoda Golf burst into the golf world last year, and myself, I was lucky enough to head up to their headquarters in Pittsburgh last December and get fit by the man behind it all, Tom Bailey. After our fit, we sat down and we talked. And in this video, you're gonna learn everything about who Tom Bailey is, why he's doing what he's doing, the irons that won the US Open, his tie-in to Bryson, one-length golf clubs, his principles on fitting. So sit back, relax, enjoy roughly 30 minutes with the mind and the brains behind Avoda Golf. You have a Canadian and a Brit in Sewickley, Pennsylvania. This is the new global HQ of Avoda Golf. I'm with founder and CEO and fitter, builder.
A bit of everything.
Jack of all trades, Tom Bailey. Tom, thank you so much for having me up here. We just went through a fit. I can't thank you enough for all this time, and it's been really cool hearing how you think about all of this. So I think in the last year or so, Avoda has definitely raised a lot of eyebrows because of this set right here. Bryson's 3D printed bulge and roll, debuted at the Masters, won the US Open with them. But before we get into that, just tell us a little bit about who's Tom Bailey.
I set out to build a set of golf clubs for myself over the last few years. Like I said, we built a set. It was good. People wanted to buy a set. We made some more sets, sold some more sets. And then some guy who was pretty good at golf wanted some sets made as well.
Yeah.
So we made a custom set. But behind that, I'm a guy who wants to get better at golf. That's been my journey for a long, long time. How can I play golf better? What level in the game can I get myself to? That originally led me down the coaching path, trying to fix my own problems, fix my own injuries, led me into the coaching world. Managed to help a lot of players get free of their own injuries, get better at golf. Started coaching at a relatively high level in that as well. In doing that, working with a lot of players, found myself applying a lot of what I'd learned to help myself to them. I kind of wanted to get back focused on moving myself forward before it gets too late.
Yeah.
To give it a shot, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
And made the decision to get back playing golf full time. And in doing that, started questioning, I'm moving well, I'm doing everything I needed to from a swing point of view. I'd learned a lot. Moving the best I ever have, that shouldn't be something that's holding me back. Why was I still struggling?
Yeah.
I'm doing all the right things. What I felt were the right things. What am I missing here? So I started asking the questions, could my golf clubs be affecting anything? And you get shut down very quickly.
For sure.
Blaming his equipment, stop blaming your equipment, go play golf. It's all, you've got to go play more and more golf.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been playing golf for a long time. I've tried playing a lot of golf. If playing a lot of golf was going to get me where I needed to go, I'd probably be there already.
Yeah.
I'm playing as much golf as anyone at the highest level. So what am I missing? I'm moving well. I'm moving how I'm built to move. Playing a lot of golf. What's missing? Started looking into equipment, discovering a few things, and doing everything I could with the golf club to figure out how to make it perform better for me.
Yeah.
Looking down the fitting route, how can I build a club better? And that led me into the same length world, testing that out. Watching Bryson years back, being a
because he was same lengthing. I mean 26. When we started being aware of it.
Yeah, that's a conversation for Mike Shy. He'll give you all the dates and the times around that. But it's
because what year did he win the US Amateur?
That's a great question.
15-ish, I think.
Been
2015,
a long
16.
time. So obviously the two of them brought that back to the world and made same length. It's this concept had been around for a long, long time. Disappeared, and they brought it back. So I was like, okay, if there's a guy I want to emulate from a swing point of view in how he's built, how he swings, it looks a lot like how I move.
I was on your Instagram the other day. Your swing definitely has a lot of similarities for sure.
So as I mentioned to you, I had a lot of wrist problems in trying to do things with my golf swing to force changes that I never really needed to meet the shallow model that everyone's trying to meet.
We talk extensively about that.
We can always cover that sometime. Yeah. So I hurt myself trying to do it. I hurt my wrist, hurt my back. I'm thinking, there's no way I'm practicing so hard, hitting buckets and buckets of balls every day, trying to improve my movement and training. Well, why can't I make these changes? Probably not built to. Learned that I'm actually not built to. By breaking my own body, trying to do it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to have a steeper golf swing. That's just me. That's what I've got. Who can I go to? Who can I look at? Who else has steep golf swing? I'm looking at different players. There's a lot of guys out there. Obviously, Bryson's the first guy we think about.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to try and look at what he does, try this out, what he does with his equipment. I didn't think that a few years later that would result in me actually building golf clubs for him.
Dude.
And it did, but I went down the same length world. I'm not the tallest and I've got crazy long arms. So for me, I always played clubs slightly shorter. Playing same length shorter made the forehand even more difficult.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm hitting my scoring clubs the best I've ever hit my scoring clubs. but I can't get my 4-iron and 5-iron in the air. So just make them a bit longer.
Got it.
So made my 4-iron and 5-iron a little bit longer. Ended up being, I played from lob wedge through to 7-iron, same length at 36 inches, because I made the same length an inch shorter.
Yep.
Usually it's 37. Made it an inch shorter to get it to 36 inches. Okay, I really like this. This is great. Can't get my 4-iron in the air. And I was swinging fast. I'd swing around 100, 105. You know, and I was just finding I wasn't, I mean, I would get it in the air. I would hit it far enough. It would go 220, 225. But I would just be like, okay, it's carrying good numbers. It's too flat, a little bit too low, not enough spin. I don't want it to go much further, but I would like it to go a little bit higher with a bit more spin. So I dived into trying to use utilities to get the ball flight up higher, and it would launch higher. Smash would increase, which then meant the spin wouldn't quite go with it. So I'm like, okay, how can I keep that spin up, get the launch up without it going way too far? Forged head, make them a little bit longer. So then I'm like, oh, I'm not playing same length anymore. But then I'm like, hold on, no, I am playing same length. I'm still got it in my golf bag.
Yeah.
I felt like I was cheating on same length, you know?
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, okay, well, what's this called then? I guess I'm playing combo length.
Combo length, yeah.
You know, and that's where the combo length idea came around. So then I'm doing that and coaching players, and had people coming along and the academy back in California, Mike Shire's academy in Fresno. People coming along and getting fitted for one length, testing one length, getting lessons, and started to see what I was doing with same length, and they're going, I have that problem. I love same length, but my 4-iron just doesn't go high enough, or my 5-iron or my 6-iron, whatever it is. Okay, well, have you tried just playing those longer? So we started doing that with guys, and they were loving it. Problem is, to do that, we were taking clubs to a bench grinding away at them. And it's like, I felt bad doing that with people's golf equipment. The performance was better, and they were really happy, but it's just like, I don't want to keep grinding away people's clubs to get the head weights and the lengths right.
It's like the 3-year-olds who just watched Toy Story like a month ago, like the kid next door in Toy Story, like cobbling everything together.
That is me.
Yeah, like just
100%.
Spike, so, I think the kid's name was. Here are your clubs back, sir.
Yeah, so it felt like that. So then we would be using, we used to get raw blank heads in, so grooved heads, completely raw heads, and we would take them down to the exact weight we wanted to, polish them up as nicely as we could. And I got really good at working on a bench grind, building clubs that way. So that, and I started building the full set for people. Started fitting that's the whole what's your length? You know, what length do you want? What length do you need your 4-iron at? What length do you need your wedges at? What point are you playing same length to before we start changing the length? And it was awesome. People were getting great results. People were really happy with their equipment. Problem is, to grind a full set of golf clubs, it takes a while. So I'm spending a couple of days putting together one set for someone, and I'm thinking, okay, we're selling golf clubs, you know. People are loving the golf club, but I'm not quite sure I want to be standing here making
just doing this.
Yeah. And you think, okay, well, there's nice margins in it, making a little bit of money from it, but how much of my time am I going to have to give up to do? I still want to play at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm 2 days grinding a set of golf clubs, do 2 sets a week. My week's gone. Not something I want to get stuck in doing. So my brother has a background in product manufacturing, and I started having a conversation with him. Like, we're just catching up. He's asking what I'm doing. I'm building golf clubs every day. I'm hand grinding them. And he goes, you ever think about making your own golf club?
Yeah.
And I was like, I am right now. And he goes, no, like actually making your own club. I'm like, can do that? So we're taking all the specifications, everything. I figured out how I wanted to put the clubs together, where I wanted the CG, how I wanted the design. I'm thinking,
when was this? Like 2020?
This is, I mean, it's been an ongoing process for the last decade of playing around with golf equipment. But as far as hand making clubs, that's been in the last few years.
Yeah.
And in literally in the last 18, 24 months of developing our own iron, our own club. So we went about doing that. We worked with a number of different manufacturers to meet our specifications, meet the quality, meet the design we wanted, get a premium forging. That was a big part of it for me. There's a lot of cheap ways to go and build a golf club that aren't going to have the performance outcome I wanted for the better player and for myself. I'm going to use this golf club to go and play golf tournaments, and I'm asking myself, if I wouldn't use it in a golf tournament, I'm not going to go and make this. Because at this point, it wasn't about selling golf clubs. This was just about building myself a set of golf clubs, and people who like the concept, like what I was playing, I could now sell them that set without having to hand grind it.
Yeah.
So that's all it was, and I'm thinking maybe I can sell 50 sets a year to help fund my golf.
Your career, yeah.
So, and that was exactly it. We did a design, and we ordered in 50 sets.
Did it have a name then?
We were blank.
Just blanks.
Yeah. completely blank.
Tom Bailey
so then
blanks.
it's just golf club.
Golf club.
Combo length. We had the combo length idea.
Yeah.
Golf club.
Golf club.
So then we shifted 50 sets
Yeah.
very quickly, a lot quicker than we thought we would. And then it was about, okay, what are we trying to achieve here? Right around the same time as we're finishing off development on the club, this is actually, we got very happy with the result we got. This was actually the second mark for the clubs. We did a slight redesign, added some branding to them, changed the coatings, changed the finishing on them, just to really dial them in. I'll try and find one of the original heads. I believe I've got one back there of the original model. It looks exactly the same shape-wise, but just that minor details playing with them, where we place the milling, the finish on the club, squaring out the top line, just literally playing down to the millimeter on the top line thickness to just get the exact appearance I wanted from the club.
Your attention to detail is definitely, I know you said like you want to get back to playing on that, but like your passion for this comes through.
Yeah,
like you're very intelligent about it. You can tell you love doing it very much, like that attention to detail. It's very impressive, dude. Like you're doing a really, really cool, like great job, especially for someone from, like, say, my background, similar backgrounds. I'm not someone who thinks like I know everything, or I'm always wanting to learn. But today, and like I felt like my early playing days, like with a club, like I'm fucking excited and I'm learning and like, oh, this could. But I'm not competing anymore. But it was just like, yeah, that passion, that knowledge, and hopefully people listening and watching all this, it's going to come through. And you've given us a bit of this timeline.
Yeah. So this is,
you said earlier,
end of last
so
year.
You're building these sets, and then how?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I can to me, it makes more sense how Bryson came about what you were doing because of Mike. Is it Shea?
Yeah, Mike Shy.
Mike Shy.
Yeah.
So Mike is telling Bryson what you're up to, what you're doing, what you're thinking, and
yeah. So we're based. I was based over at Mike's Academy in Fresno. Bryson had been coming out there for a few years to practice when he was not playing tournaments, or he'd come back because he's from Fresno originally. That's where he's from. So he would be coming in there to practice and visit Mike and go to the academy. So I'd got to know him over a few year period anyway.
And had you already like researched his swing and started like thinking? Had those things already happened?
So as far as
before meeting him?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the most famous golfers on the planet. Everyone's heard of him, so you look at his stuff. But yeah, that's again how I found Mike in the first place.
Got it.
I wanted to know, okay, so Bryson's playing same length. Bryson's doing this stuff with his golf swing. I'm obviously not going to be speaking to Bryson about this stuff right now because I'm not going to be able to get hold of Bryson to ask him these questions. So what's the next best thing I can ask him? Well, what about the guy who built him?
Yeah.
What about the guy who's been there for 20 years of his career and helped every single thing that's gone into that golf bag and into that guy and into that golf swing has come from that academy. So I thought, right, let's reach out to Mike Shy and find out what's going on here. Early 2021, we started talking. I was already using same length at that point. I was playing around with it on my own, playing around with building clubs in the garage and testing this, testing that. And I was like, let's speak to the guy who is same length. Reached out to him. We were talking over Zoom for months. And it's like, hey, get out here. Let's spend some time together. Can't travel anywhere during COVID.
Yeah.
Couldn't leave. So the moment those restrictions lifted, January 2022, jumped on a plane, came out here for 1 month. 1 month turned into 3.
Yeah.
And one thing led to the next. So we developed a really good relationship. Obviously through that, being close with Mike, Bryson would come back occasionally to see him. We got to know each other. Mike knew, obviously, I'm in his academy building clubs. I'm doing all of this work with Mike. We're building these irons, we're grinding these raw heads, testing this, testing that. So I was doing that all with him. I hadn't mentioned that I'd gone ahead and actually going ahead and making my own set until I had something. I didn't really want to say I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I wanted to turn up and go, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we found the person we wanted to work with. We got some premium forgings made, all made to the same specs, worked on the design, and early October
22.
23.
23. Yeah.
Yeah. Just over a year ago, we had the set, and this is the set.
That's the set.
I showed Mike. Mike's like, wow. So he's hitting. I mean, he's been in the industry forever. He's hit every single club out there. He still goes back to his original set of McGregor's because he loves them.
Yeah.
He has a set of clubs that he played college golf with, and he says, if I only could ever play a set of golf, one set, it's going to be these ones, no matter. So he's hitting them, and he's excited. He's the premium forging, and he's hitting them. He's loving the feel of them, loving the performance, and he goes, okay, this is awesome. You've got something here. It's like, why don't we make clubs for Bryson? And I'm like, I mean, isn't he got some people making clubs for him?
Yeah.
And he goes, no, he's not happy. He's not what he wants right now. He's got the driver figured out, Crank's been awesome.
Yeah.
He's got the driver figured out. Driver figured out has revealed some big problems in his iron game. Doesn't like the offset. Spin rates are through the roof. Stuff's not performing how he wants it to. So I was like, all right, let's
do it.
Let's talk. It was right around that same time Bryson was actually in town. So we started talking about, let's try to put something together. So it was just a case of we wanted to remove the offset, make a lower spinning head. So that was the original goal.
Mm-hmm.
Not do anything crazy. It didn't end up that way.
Yeah.
Ended up with something pretty crazy. Don't do anything crazy. He likes a lot about the clubs. Let's get rid of the offset, get them spinning a little bit lower, get something better going. And then we're testing different options. He's just there practicing, talking through. He's hitting the driver. He's loving driver, everything. And Mike goes, have you thought about putting some curvature on an iron? Can we try that?
Mm-hmm.
So Mike grabs one of the raw heads we used to work with, goes inside to the bench grind and starts putting some bulge into an iron.
Yeah.
Comes back out. We glue the whole thing together. Quick set, back on the range. Okay, hit this. So we had a flatter head and we had one with a bit of curvature on it. Bryson starts hitting it. Hit one off the toe. Ball's gone straight.
Yeah.
Hits one off the heel. Still got some draw. He loves a draw.
Yeah.
Doesn't want it overdrawing. Doesn't want it missing right.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I would use this right now.
Jeez.
Like, great, well, we've got one kind of mauled apart missing groove now because we've just added face curvature to it. So then it was a question, can we put this on a golf club?
Yeah.
So I went about putting together, we did I think I've got the heads here somewhere, I'll have to find them, but we did 2 heads, did 2 7-irons, both identical. So remove the offset. We did a one-piece forked head to start with, just for testing. And we did a fully CNC head.
Yeah.
And we did one flat face, every spec exactly the same, weight, design, the whole lot. Mm-hmm. And then we did one with curvature. And it was like, okay, let's find out what we've got here. Started hitting it, and at the speed he was moving at, it was like, okay,
this is cool.
This is going really, really
good.
Yeah. It's doing what the driver was doing.
Yeah.
The driver's got more curvature on the cranks. I mean, I'm sure you've tested them.
Not yet, no.
Oh, good. Have some testing. So one of the biggest things about them is that they've got more bulge on than any other driver out there.
Yeah.
So for the faster player, when they miss-hit it, that ball's still going to go straight. That's what he was loving. So face curvature matters.
Well, you're probably a little too young, but it reminds me of like when probably close to 20 years ago. There was the Challenger, a 1-iron with bulge and roll, and it was like this, like online, like this, like marketing thing,
so
or the TV infomercial.
The controller,
the controller, not Challenger, the controller.
They were part of testing. Just when we're starting to go, okay, let's put some curvature into an iron. I'm chatting with one of my friends back in the UK. I forgot making some irons for Bryson. He's like, what? No way. And I was like, yeah, he wants to make the faces with some curvature on them. He goes, oh, like the controller irons. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Irons 1.
Sends me an eBay link to this controller iron.
Yeah.
I forward it on to Mike. Mike's like, what? Does a bit more research. Next thing you know, 2 days later, he's got a full set, 4-iron all the way through to pitching.
I didn't even know they did a full set. I just remembered it as like a driving iron.
He scraped it out the back corners of the internet, right?
It was a driving iron. The infomercial was this kind of bigger guy, like greased hair, like
so he's
the bulge and roll. And it's like
and that's what it was. It's an infomercial.
Gear effect. Like, it was all about gear effect. Yeah.
And I think it might have come across a bit gimmicky.
Yeah.
And didn't catch on. We get this set of controllers. Mike called Bryson. Hey, we have some curvature on irons. He's like, what are you talking about? They've existed for 20-something years.
Yeah.
So he ends up coming back into town, hit them, and goes, yeah, I need this. So anyway, before that, we had these 2 7-irons.
Yeah.
We're testing. They're really good. He goes, okay, let's go ahead and make a full set. So we went about making a full set. This was Mark II. He said, here's what I want my irons to look like. We had no idea what the curvature on the clubs needed to be. So we were taking a stab in the dark. We had it dialed in a little bit more from the 7-iron we did. It gave us a rough idea. Mm-hmm. I'm running a lot of numbers trying to work out what do we need this to be. And we ended up going a little bit too strong on the curvature on the first set. It was less than we thought it was going to be, and it was still too much. He was testing those. They made it down to Mike Ober, who had them in the practice game. It was just a little bit too much curvature. The shots were going too straight. Mm-hmm. So he's like, we need to go back to the drawing board, figure this out. So I went back, worked my ass off for a couple of months, and then this set arrived the week before the Masters.
And like that's what basically put Avoda on the lips of the golfing world. Golf, like gear nerd or not, I think the aesthetic obviously added to it, because obviously there was like the cachet of like, what is this? And I even say it in the first video I did months ago. It's like this, you couldn't find much about like what's going on. Like in that ad in this day and age, that certainly adds to that elusiveness and like attention.
Yeah.
I said at the end of that first video I did, like I can't wait to see what the future holds, because you said we moved 50 sets pretty easily. And then what, a year, and then it's like Shark Tank. Oh, we've done this in this time. Like
it's one of those things
I don't think you're going to get back to playing.
Yeah, well, if I structure things right, we'll see.
Yeah.
and the way I'm looking
But then I
at
guess
it,
the question then potentially becomes like, do you want to? Right? Or is this avenue more,
as you know,
fulfilling and enjoyable?
it's one of those things you gotta find out by doing it. I might get back playing full-time golf, have some great success, and find out I don't really want to do that.
Exactly.
Or I might never do it and be like, never try, but could I have?
Yeah.
You know, so it's one thing I'm going to have to find out. The biggest part about me still getting back to playing is this exists.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to build something for myself.
Yeah.
These irons exist because I was trying to build something for myself. So the way we want to move this company forward is it's filling the gaps, what's missing in the industry.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sell a golf club that I haven't used myself. If I wouldn't use the golf club and I wouldn't gain benefit from using it, it's not a product that's needed. You know, if I could find it out there already, I don't need to make it.
Yeah.
You know, and if it's not out there already and I make it and it's not out there because it wasn't needed, I'm not going to sell it either. So me getting back and just playing, whatever that means, whatever that level means, just working towards getting better is going to produce more good golf equipment.
Yeah.
You know?
So then, moving in from that, like, what does 2025 look like for Avoda?
Continuing to give people
what do you hope it looks like, and what do you think it will look like?
I didn't think this year would look like it did, so I didn't think that in our first year as a company we would have a US Open win.
No, dude, it's
didn't see that
crazy.
You know, didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
and or even just a set played in the Masters.
Yeah,
you know, and by one of the best golfers of all time. Yeah, I mean, whatever people may have in their opinions about him, he's a really, really good golfer.
He is.
So and arguably up there with the best. He's certainly unbelievable to watch hit golf shots, and to build golf clubs for a player of that level. I'm thinking this is amazing. To be involved in that process of developing and learning a lot through that, and then those irons going on to have some great success. If you asked me that question last year, that wouldn't have been in it.
It's like a perfect storm's the wrong word, but it's like a perfect storm of sequences. This perfect sequence of events to progress everything.
Yeah, and the thing is, because that wasn't the intention.
Yeah,
this was the intention. We already had stock. We already had the website set up. We were already ready to sell, because my plan was to sell 50, and I had a website set up to do it.
Yeah.
So it was a case of ramping that up a lot very quickly, and that was a lot of learning. We got it done. It's a lot of long days. That's part of relocating. We want to set up full production line.
Yeah.
You know, we're still operating out of a garage for the last year.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have time with how quick the demand was to go ahead and get ourselves a space set up. But in answer to your question, what does next year look like? It's going to be there's so many people out there that have heard of us that haven't had a chance to go through what you did today.
Yeah.
So our goal for next year is going to be giving people access to experience what you did today, whether that results in them buying equipment or not.
Yeah.
We have a good product. We have a
very
good system.
Product, yeah.
And next year is about having as many people get the opportunity to go through that process as possible.
Yeah.
And just opening their eyes on the possibilities of golf equipment. If they come out of that session without buying a set of golf clubs, but they have had the experience and open the awareness of how much the equipment is actually causing most of the problems and is holding them back, and could be the one thing that needs to be changed to drive them to the next level in golf.
Because every golfer has goals. It's one of those weird things that
every golfer wants to get better.
Correct.
You know.
So what? And even me, like a great example is kind of a casual golfer. Obviously, I have a higher background, if you will, or a higher level of expectation or ability. But in the last 5 years, not doing a fitting and just using my own knowledge as a player and one-time fitter, and I figured out whatever. This feels better. This feels okay. Compromising so much performance, but it feels fine. Like it works. Whereas now it's like I'm still going to test golf clubs and that but I know what golf clubs I'm going to play with, because I know that there's no comparison.
Opens up more opportunity.
Yeah.
It's not even saying an incorrectly fitted set of golf clubs or an incorrect specifications for golf clubs, you're going to find a way to play golf with anything.
Yes.
But now we're talking about fine-tuning the specifics of the club. So you can take any club right now, regardless of it being the wrong spec, and find a way to put together a round of golf. Is that round of golf as good as it possibly could be? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
Is that potential of that being quite a bad round of golf? There's probably more potential if the stuff's not dialed, if the equipment's not dialed into you. But yeah, going through that process of changing how a fit is looked at from data, and we know this is how it's supposed to be. The player has no idea. I'm not saying no, because some people are doing fittings really, really well, and there's a lot of custom fit centers now that are really starting to understand how to take people through fittings, but it's the experience for the person going into the fitting. Did that person leave there now knowing what they need to do to go and play better golf, what they need to do with their equipment to have better equipment? If they left there just going, here's your golf clubs, and they got no idea why, the chances of them actually trusting that equipment are down. There's no experience to it.
Well, because in trust and the confidence and the performance, and if they're dominoes that fall, and if you don't, you go, oh, sure, great. Don't know why. Don't have any confidence because I don't know why. Performance doesn't change.
For sure.
And that's kind of a cycle that a lot of golfers just kind of live in.
Yeah.
Oh, just performance stays the same. I have goals, but I don't do anything, and performance stays the same.
It's like that round of golf. You started off with a couple of bogeys, a double, a birdie. Front nine was shocking. Back nine was really, really good. They're like, oh, I wish I could keep playing today's round. I got another 18 holes tomorrow. Can I play that 18 holes now? You're in a 72-hole tournament. I'm on a roll. It's that same feeling when you're going through a fitting and getting the full experience from it. Are you on that roll? You've gone through, you've tested these clubs, you found ones that work really well for you. Now you're excited to go and use them, as opposed to here's the club that's right for you. You're like, I'm excited to use them, but I have no idea why this is right for me. There's no attachment to why these clubs work. And in the fitting, as you experience, hitting the clubs that aren't right for you is just as important as hitting the clubs that are right for you. You can feel just how far off it can be when they're not.
And that was unlike anything I've ever done. Maybe you hit the wrong, especially in driver fittings. Maybe you hit a couple that just aren't right, but you get rid of that quick.
Yeah.
Forget that feeling. Whereas you were more, remember what that one felt like on this end of the spectrum and this end of the spectrum. Now we work our way back.
3 to 5 with all of them, no matter whether it's good or bad.
Just very, very interesting, very enlightening, and very, I've used the word a few times, kind of counterintuitive to what one would expect. And
it's all the same elements.
Yeah.
Changing the order
Yeah.
that the elements are tested in.
Well, and I feel like the priority, because you change the order, that it speaks to the priority that you place on those components of the fit. Whereas the priorities traditionally kind of all together, treated as a whole, as opposed to like, well, this is actually a heavier piece of the pie, so let's focus on this first, prioritize this.
100%. There's loads of variables in a golf club.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could just keep noting down every single variable there is in a golf club. However many that number is, that number adds up to 100% of a golf club. So whether that's 100 different variables or 10 different variables, that's 100% of a golf club. Let's take every one of those variables and work out how much a percentage that's worth from that golf club. Lie angle is 70% of that club.
Yeah.
So let's make sure that 70% is done before we do anything else. We start playing around with that last 30% of a club, or let's say the shaft's dialed in, and then you dial in the grip, and then you start playing with all these tiny, minute details, and at the very end of all of that, you go and do the lie angle. That 70% will completely change that other 30%. So it's not are you testing all the variables? It's are you testing the variables in the right order, so you know that you're not changing them as you go through it. So lie angle, get that in first. Yes, we know that changing shaft can affect how the lie angle presents.
Yeah.
But as we talked about, we're looking at a degree. Versus if you don't fit the lie angle and then you leave that to the very end, you could be looking at 5 degrees. So let's get that dialed in first. Then let's start testing the other variables. And then when you realize that there's only 3 that make up the biggest portion of a golf club, there's other few variables, leave them to the tour pros.
Yep.
Leave them to the guys
100%.
that are trying to find that tiniest advantage so they can win by 1 shot over 72 holes, or make the FedEx Cup by $1 after a whole year of playing golf. That's where it matters. And even a lot of them, if they went through, as we've as we've learned, building golf clubs, if they went through a fit in a different order and saw the equipment from a different perspective, they may not be blaming their golf swings as much or blaming their psychology as much.
Yeah.
You know, you take that golf club that wasn't right for you, that you could feel wasn't right for you, take the line angle that wasn't right for you, the opposite end of the spectrum to what you ended up with. Take the profile of the shaft that wasn't right for you, take the grip that wasn't right for you, and now go out and play a year of golf. You tell me how your mental state is. How do you feel going into that next round of golf? You're not as excited. You know, you're leaving the golf course more frustrated. Give you the club that's dialed in to where you don't really feel like you have to do that much to make it work. Now your mental state's in a way better place. We put so much pressure and so much, like, it's putting pressure on the mental game, trying to blame the mental game for everything, when actually we're just reacting to, quite often, equipment.
Yeah.
And you can feel it.
It's, like I said, it's a very refreshing way to look at it. 2025, I think, is going to be a very exciting year for you guys. I feel very grateful to have met everyone here and like be kind of part of these early years. And I can't thank you enough for your time. And like you said, 2025, you want to see some growth. We talked like there's more Avoda certified fitters, if you will, popping up around the States and in the UK.
Be in every state, at least a few locations in every state by the spring, and then ramp it up from there.
There we go.
And we'll be at the PGA show in January.
Oh, nice. Perfect. We'll see you down there, and maybe we'll see another major next year with the Irons. Yeah. Cheers, man. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.